We have a major update on the New York Knicks from Shams of The Athletic, as he indicates the New York Knicks will be active during the trade season. Not only that, he also hints at the fact that the Knicks potentially could pursue Donovan Mitchell again. We're also going to look at who has the best odds to land Donovan Mitchell if Cleveland makes him available for a trade. All of this and so much more today. So be sure you're subscribed to the channel and have notifications turned on so you don't miss a second of the new content. And now, let's get started. Shams states that the New York Knicks will be active during the trade season. This is not a surprise at all. If you've been watching Knicks games as of late, you already know the Knicks need some help. They need a talent upgrade. They need help with spacing, shooting, and size at different positions. The only way for the New York Knicks to get that during this season is to make a trade. So hearing Shams state that the New York Knicks would be active during this trade season is not that much of a surprise. However, he did hint at the fact that the New York Knicks could potentially go after Donovan Mitchell again during this trade season. Let's show you exactly what Shams had to say. Roll it.
Well, I think in the regular season, Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, they are good enough to carry this team, at least, right where they are now, which is a bubble home court advantage team, literally little outside home court advantage. Last year, they didn't have home court advantage in the 4-5 matchup, and they beat Cleveland. Couple years prior to that, they had home court advantage, and then they lose. So they're a team that's right on the cusp of home court advantage to me, which is a good place to be. In a lot of ways, it's better than where they've been the last decade plus before Tibbs got there. But I think for them, it's Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. How do their games translate in the playoffs? Last year, Julius Randle deals with an ankle injury. He has surgery in the offseason, and then he starts this year off slow. He shoots only 29% that first month of the season. But listen, the last month and a half, he's up to 50% shooting. He's playing better. And they do have young players, Quentin Grimes, Emmanuel Quickley. If they do want to be active in the trade market, they're a Quentin Grimes away in a trade package to the Utah Jazz from getting Donovan Mitchell. And they end up keeping Quentin Grimes, keeping an extra first-round pick. So I could see them being active for sure in the trade marketplace. They're definitely monitoring every star that could be available. Could that be Donovan Mitchell?
They are definitely monitoring every star available. What an amazing and major update here from Shams from The Athletic. Shout out to him for giving us this update and information, because now we know a lot of NBA league sources and insiders see the New York Knicks as a team that may have home court advantage or may still be that fifth seed in the East. Either way, they do see them as a playoff team, but they also see them as a piece away from being that legit threat in the Eastern Conference. And Shams did note that the New York Knicks are likely going to be active during this trade season. He also hinted right there at the end, potentially, at the New York Knicks maybe going after Donovan Mitchell again. Let's take a look at that last quote and exactly what he said there. I could see the Knicks being active for sure in the trade market. They're definitely monitoring every star that could be available. Could that be Donovan Mitchell? Did you see the little hint that he threw out there at the end? Could that be Donovan Mitchell? We all know the rumors and the reports over the last few weeks have had the New York Knicks linked to Donovan Mitchell, linked to him being a potential destination coming to the New York Knicks, wanting to be in New York. The Knicks failing to get him when he was in Utah, and Shams obviously alluding to that in his response just now, but also mentioning the fact that they potentially could go after him again. As I mentioned, even reports as of yesterday indicated that the New York Knicks and the Brooklyn Nets potentially had the best chance, according to NBA insiders, indicating that if Donovan Mitchell was going to be available for trade, those two teams would likely be the top of his list because he would likely go there. It gives him an avenue to go to New York, a place that he's wanted to be in for years, but also it gives them, those teams, the Knicks and the Nets, if he were to sign with them, have the best chance of re-signing Donovan Mitchell. For one simple fact, both of those franchises are in New York. Unfortunately, the Nets are in New York. They should be in New Jersey and not be anywhere in the borough of New York City, but unfortunately they are. And because of that, they're always going to pose a risk and a threat to any would-be star that wants to come to New York. Because unfortunately, you can potentially get that New York scene and New York lifestyle without the pressure of having to play in the Mecca of basketball with the New York Knicks. And according to Shams, he also notes that even though the Knicks could potentially go after Donovan Mitchell again, he mentions that they're definitely monitoring every star that could be available. Is that a shock? Is that a surprise? To me, it's not, because I've been reading these reports and studying this stuff for the last few months. And as I've been looking at it, the Knicks have been window shopping because they've been monitoring each and every single star that's become available. Whether they're a good fit, a bad fit, that doesn't matter. If they're a star or a superstar in this league, the Knicks have thrown feelers out there to see potentially what it would take to get that star on this Knicks roster. So this is not a shock to hear Shams say this. I just want to know who that player finally is going to be, because there are a number of players, about a dozen players, role players, star players, and superstar players that have been linked to the New York Knicks, and there are reports indicating that potentially they can become a New York Knick either during this season or definitely during next offseason. I just want to know who that player is. It's going to be up to the Knicks and Leon Rose to answer that question of who that star ultimately is going to be that they're going to trade for to get on this Knicks roster to pair with Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle. Could that star be Donovan Mitchell? Absolutely. There are enough reports and smoke that tell me that Donovan Mitchell is absolutely a realistic play for the New York Knicks to add, whether that be during this season or the offseason. It absolutely is realistic. But speaking about Donovan Mitchell, according to reports, the Knicks have the best odds to land Spida if he becomes available by Cleveland. This was reported first by Salman Ali, who gave us Donovan Mitchell's next team odds via bookies.com. According to them, the New York Knicks have the best odds to land Donovan Mitchell at plus 250, which works out to be 28.6%. Following them is the Brooklyn Nets, who are very close to them at plus 275, which equates to 26.7%. And then the following teams also have a shot to get Donovan Mitchell if he becomes available. The Miami Heat at plus 425, the Pelicans at plus 450, the Rockets at plus 850, and the Field at plus 500. Shout out to bookies.com for giving us this information and the odds, potentially, if Donovan Mitchell becomes available, which team could get him. And clearly, number one on that list, no shock or surprise to anyone, I'm sure, is the New York Knicks at plus 250, which tells me, like everybody knows, like all the reports indicate, like all the NBA insiders have already noted, if Donovan Mitchell becomes available for a trade from Cleveland, the number one team on his list, the number one destination, the most likely place he's going to end up is with the New York Knicks for a multitude of reasons. But the main reason is because, honestly, he wants to come to New York and be a New York Knick. He wants to be part of this organization. He's wanted to be part of this organization for years now. So because of that, this is no surprise or shock. And honestly, for me, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Donovan Mitchell, not the best fit, not the most ideal fit, but for me, the most realistic option and target for the New York Knicks. If you get Donovan Mitchell, check, he's a star. Check, he helps with spacing. Check, he becomes one of your best three-point shooters instantly. Oh yeah, and by the way, creates one of the most explosive offensive backcourts in the entire NBA with him and Jalen Brunson. Pick your poison each and every night who you're going to guard. Guard Jalen, Donovan's going off. Guard Donovan, Jalen's going off. Try to guard both of them, think you're slick, Julius Randle and the rest of the squad likely go off. There is no protection. They are going to destroy teams on the offensive end because of the firepower that those two bring. Let's not forget that the New York Knicks, as of late, for offense, have been good, have been great, dare I say. They have been doing exactly what they need to do on the offensive end. Defensively, it's been a little bit more of a struggle. A lot of that has to do with them missing Mitchell Robinson. If they had him, I think defensively, they would be a lot more sound. And offensively, they're doing a lot of what you want to see anyways. If they get Donovan Mitchell and add them to the squad, could you imagine what they could do on the defensive end with Mitchell Robinson and the offensive end with Mitch and, of course, Jalen Brunson on that squad? It would be absolutely ludicrous. They would light teams up. I think that they would be one of the best teams in the entire NBA, and they would be an absolute hard beat each and every night. Leon Rose, New York Knicks, please do the Knicks fans and all of us this justice, this service. You didn't do it the first time. Make it right the second time. You have the best odds. Donovan wants to be a New York Knick. All the reports indicate that Donovan is going to be a New York Knick at some point in time in his career. We need to pull the trigger. We need to get a trade done. We need to get Donovan Mitchell on this squad sooner rather than later. However, if we feel secure in the fact that he's going to come to the New York Knicks in free agency, I'm very okay with waiting till free agency, having Donovan come here and sign here at that point in time, and using those assets that the New York Knicks have and still have because they signed Donovan outright to go out and get another star to pair with this New York Knicks roster. Because that's another way you get 2 stars to pair with Jalen Brunson, and another way you make this Knicks team an absolute threat in the Eastern Conference. But what about you guys? What do you think about this major update that we got from Shams and also from bookies.com reporting that if Donovan Mitchell becomes available via trade, that he likely will become a New York Knick? Let me know in the comments below, guys, because honestly, I would love to hear from you. But that's going to do it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and smash that like button, leave a comment below, and of course, guys, please subscribe to the channel. Until next time, Knicks fans. Peace.